The Chicago Blackhawks have been thriving off their newfound success in the game that they had versus the Vancouver Canucks. In the most recent game, they beat the Colorado Avalanche 3-2 in a game that they were the complete underdog in this one. So we're going to be talking about what they changed to make this a huge win for the Blackhawks, as well as some roster changes that we're going to see over the next few days before Christmas. But before we get into all of that, we noticed that 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get daily Blackhawks news, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news. But like I said, the Blackhawks, what a game they had versus the Colorado Avalanche, bringing out a huge win. We're going to talk about this whole game and the whole situation they've had leading up to this game. They're heating up, and it is looking very, very promising for Blackhawks fans, the Blackhawks, and everybody involved. We're going to start it off here with what was the big part of the game. Obviously, the big part of every game as well, was Connor Bedard. He's flying all night. Easily one of the best players on the ice, 2 assists and leading the game 6 shots. He hasn't scored at the United Center since November 4th, a span of 12 games, but I expect the floodgates to open soon. That is from Charlie Roumeliotis, as well as Lukas Reichel potting his first goal in 8 games, which is a huge confidence booster for him, and I gotta say, he looked very good. So Noah, what do you think about this game? What do you think the importance is of these guys heating it up and, getting these wins out of the bag?
Well, I think, we're going to expect this night in from Connor Bedard. I mean, it's going to come to a point where he's going to be the best player on the ice, regardless, no matter what the game is. But I'm really, really happy for Lukas Reichel. I mean, I don't want to say we've been ripping him, but we've been, talking about what he has and hasn't done this season. So for him to pot one, I absolutely love. I love to see it. Also, Petr Mrazek, I think we're going to touch on a little bit later, I thought was fantastic tonight or last night. I mean, so you're going to dive into that a little bit more, but I think he was the star last night.
Yeah, you're right. We do rip Lukas Reichel, but we call a spade a spade. You have to, at certain points, you have to acknowledge that he hasn't been playing well. He knows he hasn't been playing well, and his confidence has been very low. So hopefully, with him being on the first line in this game, as well as scoring in this game, being in the power play, hopefully this will all boost that confidence up enough where he starts to get back into that rhythm. So I'm going to pull up the forwards here really quick. Philip Kurashev was out pretty much a game-time decision, I guess you could call it, just before the game due to an illness, so that put Ryan Donato and Lukas Reichel on the first line. Originally was Reichel, Bedard, and Kurashev, that line that we've seen has worked out pretty well, but gotta say, this line definitely kept up the pace of what that other line would have. So, the lines were kept pretty consistent. It's one thing we've been talking about. There hasn't been too much consistency on the lines that they've done, but over the past few games, apart from, the injuries and stuff, it's been consistent, which is a very positive sign, for this Blackhawks team. But we're also going to talk about here, like you said, Noah, Petr Mrazek. He saved 145 goals above expected in this game per really natural stat trick. And he was reliable yet again, finished on 35 saves and 37 shots with a save percentage of .946. Seems like we always talk about him, having an insane game, somewhere near 40 shots and saving pretty much all of them in a win or a close game. And, this is what you like to see. Whether they do end up keeping Petr Mrazek or, he's been drawing a lot of interest, whether they do trade him, that's putting a stock up more, allowing for the Blackhawks to be able to get more in return if a trade does arise come the trade deadline or whatnot. The roster freezes on now, so it won't be until the 28th, I believe, or something. Yeah. So, we have him locked up for a bit, at least 8 days, just to say. But I don't think he'll be moved anytime soon. I think the Blackhawks are going to have a lot of thought on this movement if something does happen. But I also want to talk one more thing about the power play here. We discussed in the Vancouver game, they were rocking 5 forwards on the power play. And, it was very, very good and surprised me a lot, to be honest with you. But the Blackhawks, they were going to do that again this game, but like I said, Kurashev was out, scratched for an illness, so they couldn't get that 5 forwards on the power play. They did have 4, however, and Tyler Johnson scored the game-winning goal, and Nikita Zaitsev, who serves as the power play quarterback, earned 2 assists, and they're staying hot. The power play is, again, another part of what we've been talking about. It's been quite tough as of late, but they found out the rhythm that they need to do. They need to just put the pressure on the power play. 5 forwards, I'm assuming, will probably continue again next game when Kurashev comes back. I'd say see how long it works until it don't, and then change it up again. But as long as it works, stick with it. Noah, what do you think about that power play with the 5 forwards?
I don't like it, to be completely honest with you. I mean, it's not really common you see that in today's NHL. There's usually a quarterback sort of, which is a defenseman. I mean, I've been saying since the start of the season to have Kevin Korchinski on that first line power play. Obviously, they have some star power if they're going with 5 forwards on the power play, but I'm not a huge fan of it, to be completely honest. But I guess if it works, don't fix, what's the saying?
Don't fix it if it's not broken.
There you go. Don't
Yeah,
fix it if you're not broken. Yeah. So
they did have to kind of do this. How many injuries they had on
yeah.
defense. They kind of had to put as much offensive pressure, as much offensive power as they could on the forwards, and it worked. So I guess when Kevin Korchinski, Seth Jones, and all them come back, it'll probably be revamped. I really do think we'll see Kevin Korchinski on the first line power play along with 4 more forwards. I think that would be even better than the 5 forwards, to be honest with you. Having that one defenseman who's very good offense, very good defense, and strong in the puck. I think that'll be a very exciting time to see this power play once they come back. But
Yeah.
that's another thing I want to talk about here as well, is the roster moves that's coming. We have a lot of injuries, like a lot of injuries, and it does suck. It just seems we can't catch a break. I've seen many players joking about how they don't even want to go to practice just in case they get hurt. But like we said, we're going to talk about Kevin Korchinski here first, since we're on the topic. He's going to be a huge addition. He could have played last night, but the Blackhawks want him to get a few more practices in after his tenure away due to the unforeseen circumstances in his family. But when he comes back, I think he's going to come out flying. I really do, and I really hope so for, his spirits and everything due to what happened. But I think that he's going to be a major addition to this team from what they're lacking. So many injuries. I'll pull up the injuries that we have here right now. Obviously, Taylor Hall is out for this season. Andrea Athanasiou is out a while. Joey Anderson left the game last night hurt. Korchinski's back. Kurashev will only be a game or two, I would say. Their next game's the 22nd, so he should be back. But Alex Vlasic and Seth Jones both will not be here before Christmas, and they're going to be out a while after Christmas as well. So
A big loss.
Yeah, exactly. Some major injuries on this team. But when they get Kevin Korchinski back, they build up some more forwards and get everything set again. This team could be riding a high off these players coming back, and I think it's going to be a very good idea. But Noah, how crucial are these injuries to the Blackhawks? Obviously, they do have a lot of stuff in the AHL, a lot of players in the AHL, a lot of talent, but you want to have a consistent lineup, even though you're not trying to win necessarily right now. But you need a group that can stick together and fight their battles. So what do you think the importance is of these injuries?
It builds chemistry, plain and simple. I mean, you have Seth Jones, who's a pretty good leader. I mean, say what you want about his abilities. I won't dive into that because it's a bit controversial. But he's a leader on this team, and when you have a leader out, for an extended period of time, it sucks. Plain and simple. I mean, everybody's all over the place. Nobody really knows what to do, and even going to a guy like Alex Vlasic, a young guy who's probably going to be on this Blackhawks roster for future. Let him in. He needs to be kind of familiar with the scenario, and I think it sucks. I mean, he's a big piece, and when you lose a guy like that, it sucks.
Yeah, I know, I completely agree. And the injuries have been happening all season. That's why you've been seeing, a mix of lines, nobody having a really consistent line partner. But now that Luke Richardson has kind of settled with who he likes with who he likes where, we've seen the success come from the Blackhawks, although it's not now any playoff team success. However, it's what you want to see for the Blackhawks. You want to see this team getting better. You want to see them win a few against some good teams, but not too many games. You're trying to still go for one of those top picks, so you don't want to be an extremely good team, but you want these players to gel together. You want them to get some chemistry for what's going to be upcoming down the road. That's a big part of what this Blackhawks team they're trying right now. And they're doing well with this by sticking with lines, even if it may not work. You got to have confidence that they're going to fix it, that they're going to figure out what they're doing wrong. And they've been doing that over the past few games, and that's what we've seen with the Blackhawks. They've just been getting better and better and better, even with the team having as many injuries as they do. They're down a lot of star players, a lot of star talent, but it seems like they've been getting better this season because of the chemistry that they've been building with their line partners. So it's a good thing that we see from the Blackhawks, although it is very unfortunate due to the injuries and everything. But it's pretty good that we've been seeing this from the Blackhawks.
It's like you want. It's like, oh, do I want Macklin Celebrini or do we want to win the games? It's like
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want Macklin Celebrini. I'll say that for them. You want Macklin Celebrini right now, but I would say right now it's a bit too late in the season to be able to try and turn it around. But they're also not there yet. There's many teams that are down at the bottom of the line, down at the bottom of the standings, like the Ottawa Senators, who have an opportunity to turn around. They have the talent to turn around. The Blackhawks just, I don't think, have it completely set yet. They have too many injuries, like too many unforeseen circumstances on the team. So I think you got to hold out one more year, and then maybe see what the lineup looks like next year, then go for it. But they're doing the right thing this year, losing the games they need to lose, winning the games they need to win, and they're getting better. So you can't ask for much more as a Blackhawks fan, but that's all we got for this video. You got any final thoughts on this one?
No, I'm excited to see what the new what happens with the Blackhawks future to come.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. I'm excited to see what they do over the next few games. That mainly, it's looking good.
Yep.
Excited to see if they can keep it up. Excited to see if they do with the power play mostly as well. After having
last night.
a full 180 on the power play. So we'll be keeping you guys updated with that. And make sure to subscribe if you do want to check it out for daily Blackhawks content. But that's all we got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.